Zelete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Just some few weeks ago, we heard the preaching that it's because we have left Africa. That is why things are happening in Africa, making it look as if without them, the African can never survive. Only for them to end up telling the whole world today again that their power has come to an end. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, has just confessed something and admitted that today, their power, their strength, every policy, their strategies that they have kept in place, thinking that these things are unshakable, has now finally come to an end. Western power, Western dominance, everything about the West has come to an end, including the United States of America, because they thought that from the 18th century today, everything that they have done, thinking that that will support them, that will continue to give them the power to control the world, is no longer working, because we have now new powers emerging. We have powers like Russia, powers like China, powers like India rising. And these powers have made sure that they corner the West. So every strategy, especially with the military ones, that they have made a lot of mistakes, and they have to admit it. Mistakes. Things that they shouldn't have done, they did. Thinking that these things will continue to give them the power to rule. But like they said, nothing lasts forever. No matter what, empires must go for new empires to come. Empires went, and it got to the West. Like the Finland president said, that's one thing that their people are finding it so difficult to accept, that their rule has come to an end. They have to sit somewhere for another power to take control. And that when you look at what is happening currently, the West has no power, and they have to understand and admit that their power has come to an end. Now is the time for a new world, a new ruler, a new power to take charge.
We are undoubtedly witnessing the end of Western hegemony over the world. We had become accustomed to an international order that, since the 18th century, was based on Western hegemony. Likely French in the 18th century, inspired by the Enlightenment, undoubtedly British in the 19th century, thanks to the Industrial Revolution, and reasonably American in the 20th due to the two major conflicts and the economic and political dominance of this power. Things are changing. They are profoundly shaken by the mistakes of the Westerners. In certain crises by American choices over several years, which did not start with this administration, but lead to revisiting certain implications in conflicts in the Near and Middle East and elsewhere, and to rethink a deep strategy, both diplomatic and military, and sometimes elements of solidarity that we thought were eternal intangibles, even though we had formed them together in geopolitical moments that had changed, yet today have changed. And then it's also the emergence of new powers, whose impact we have undoubtedly underestimated for a long time. China in the forefront, but also the Russian strategy carried out, it must be said, with more success in recent years. I will come back to this. India is emerging. These new economies that are becoming not only economic powers, but also political ones, and which consider themselves, as some have written, as true civilization states, and are not only disrupting our international order, which come to weigh in the economic order, but also to rethink the political order and the political imagination that goes with it, with much strength and much more inspiration than we have. Let's look at India, Russia, China. They have a much stronger political inspiration than Europeans today.
And today, Macron himself has admitted that these are the things that our leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso saw and decided to move away from the Western narrative. They have been with them for a very long time. Nothing came out of it. The African keeps moving backwards. Everything that we have here isn't benefiting us. So, we needed to move away to certain places to see how we can use other tactics and approaches to change the situation in Africa. And these were the same people who told us we made a very big mistake because Russia cannot help us. China cannot help us. They are the only ones that can change the narrative in every part of the world. And if they themselves are now admitting that they can no longer be of help because their power can't even help them, why then do we still expect Africa to continue to be in partnership with these people? This was the same person who came to tell us that because they have left Mali with their military strategy, that's why Mali, there are attacks everywhere. And the same person today is telling us that their military strategy is no longer working. Their policies are no longer working. And the mistakes that they have made caught up with them. So, why do we still sit here and believe in ourselves that these are the people that can help us? There was one time Macron himself told the world that what they even need to defend themselves, they don't have it. And if countries like countries in Africa even need help, like some of the things we can use to defend ourselves, and we need them to supply us, it has to take us about 7 years. So in case something is happening in your country, by that 7 years, will you still be a complete nation? These are the same people keep preaching dependency on the African when they know very well that they themselves can't even defend themselves. They can't protect themselves, let alone talk of protecting somebody. We've heard economists, analysts telling us that the Western hegemony has come to an end. Western rule has come to an end. But after everything, they will still sit down and preach dependency to the African, making it look as if without them, the African cannot do anything. Like he came and told us in Nairobi that they have Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso isolated themselves from the rest of the world simply because they have decided to move away from the West. They make it look as if without them, we can't do anything. And the time for us in Africa to wake up is now, to believe in ourselves. We are the only people that can stand up, protect ourselves, defend ourselves. Like Iran told the Gulf nations that you cannot depend on somebody for your survival, for your security. Because a borrowed garment can never keep you warm. You need yourself and not other people. Africans must build themselves, like the Finland president was encouraging Africans, that we need to start being players. If not, we'll continue to remain as pawns. And are we ready to be players in this new world? When the people we depend so much on are telling us now they don't even have the power. And everything they have kept in place since the 18th century is no longer working. They have lost everything. And they need to also bow down for other people to come in. And they themselves are seeing the powers that are emerging. And now in Africa, we are seeing powers like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso emerging as well, trying to cope and catch up with the rest of the world. Like Captain Ibrahim Traore said, everything that we have here is manufactured by somebody. Why can't we do it? Why must we sit down for people to continue to bring everything into Africa? We are ready market for anything at all. Yet we have everything. We have the knowledge, we have the skills. We can produce everything. So why do we still sit here? Why do we still sit here for people to come into the continent and be doing something for us when we ourselves can do things for ourselves? The people who were dependent on thinking that they are the solution to our problems are themselves crying. They have seen the world changing and they have seen that they are no longer in control. So why do we need to depend on people when the world is not waiting for anybody? We have to empower ourselves. We have to work against the system that has been kept in place to keep the African in perpetual bondage and for us to continue to be in dependency. We need to also rise up as a people to fight. We must catch up with the rest of the world. The world is not waiting for us. And we can't continue to be waiting on the world. We can't continue to be waiting for people to donate. We don't need aid because we have everything. All we need is good leadership, like what we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So the time has come for the African to wake up and start depending on ourselves rather than depending on other people. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in France.